So I'm trying this again because the first time I tried to record, it said unable to connect. So anyway, I wanted to do this video. I turned the comments off while I'm going live just so that I don't get distracted because sometimes y'all I lose my train of thought. I be having so many thoughts coming in my mind at once. When I used to talk about TV shows and films on this channel, I would make the videos in advance instead of going live just so that I would be able to polish up my videos. So going live is not my forte, but I do it because I honestly don't be having the time, or at least I don't feel like I have the time to um make videos, polish them up, edit them, and then release them. So I just go live impromptu. This one I tried to pre-schedule. But anyway, nonetheless, I was just wondering if anyone that is working in customer service feels like working in customer service during these times is very difficult. I say this because while what I do, it involves a whole lot of driving around the county in which I reside. I also have to deliver customer service. In fact, I am not driving around cargo, I'm driving around people. And it is a very important service because without this service, some of these folks would not be able to get around. I'm talking wheelchair bound individuals and others who aren't wheelchair bound. So it is a very much needed service. And that is why I appreciate what I do, because I feel like if I got to do something, if I got to be out here working, which I would prefer that I was retired already, okay? But if I have to be out here working, I at least want to feel like I'm doing something that gives back to the community, specifically the community, my community. And that's another thing about this position. While I am sent out all around the county, I am also able to work locally in the community I grew up in and assist a lot of people that need the service, transportation service. I'm able to assist a lot of people in the community I grew up in, as well as go out throughout the county. So I feel like I'm giving back. And it is, again, it's very much needed. However, very challenging during this times. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I got so many stories, so many stories about things that have happened. And if you work in customer service, I'm sure you do too. I have so many stories about things that have happened, things that clients have said. A lot of wonderful clients. The blessing also about this transportation position is I deal a lot with the elderly. So I get a lot of wisdom from elders. A lot of elders really dropping knowledge on me while I'm driving. They are telling me about the city. They're giving me history about the city. I had like two elders at once one time who both were dropping knowledge about the South and how they were from the South. One I think was from like Alabama, the other one I think was like from Mississippi. They were explaining why they migrated to the North. I mean, I'd be getting some wonderful opportunities to have some history truly dropped on me by these elders. So I'm very grateful for that. But on the flip side of things, customer service, in my opinion, during these times is very tiresome. I've always worked in customer service ever since I was like 18. I worked for grocery stores as a cashier. Moving on forward in life as a young adult, I was a bank teller. I worked at a dry cleaners. Hell, I worked at a Walmart. For like that was the longest job I had up until a certain point. Was I worked at a Walmart for 2 years. And even with all those experiences, because some every and anything walks into Walmart, even animals walk into Walmart. So I have a lot of stories about that too. And one day I'll get on here and share some of those. But my point is, even during those times, especially in my 20s when I was working in customer service, the what seemed to have been like the mantra was, the customers was always right during that time. So it was a little different. The dynamic was a little different, but it had its stressors. It definitely was some entitled individuals who would come into the store and they understood that most stores looked at it as, oh, well, the customer's always right. So I'm going to challenge you as the employee because for one, you need your job. So I know you can only do so much or say so much back to me, but also two, we understand that stores have this mantra, this belief that customers is always right. Fast forward to today. I don't know if stores still, I don't think stores still have that mantra of customers are always right. But I do believe companies are about the money. They are about the money, and therefore they don't give a crap about their employees. So, with that being said, I believe that employees are still held to a certain standard, kind of, sort of, depending on where you work, where you feel like, you have to be possibly polite or whatever, like extremely polite, and take shit from people because of the fact that you know you need your job and your check at the end of the day. And the companies, some companies may not really give a crap about their employees and would rather you be a doormat than to defend you as the employee over a customer. With that being said, we still got some people out here who, when they utilize certain services or need that customer service, they are so freaking entitled. Whoa, was I able to pick back up on the live? Oh, I think I was able to continue the live. That's crazy. So I'm not sure if I don't know how that worked. I guess I am still live. I had to stop because my partner was calling my phone. Anyway, getting back to the topic of customer service, just speaking from my perspective as someone who, I'm not working in the store, I am driving, I'm picking people up. I don't really have to deal with them too long. The most I have to deal with somebody maybe would be an hour if they have to ride along with other passengers for a while until I reach their destination. So I don't really have to deal with individuals too long. And in fact, the company that I work for does not tolerate disrespect to their operators. So if we ever have issues with our clients disrespecting us, getting out of line, we can report them. And eventually, after they've been reported so many times or so, they can be banned from the service because it is a private funded service. So I'm grateful for that. However, there's still stressors in customer service. You know, it's supply and demand. So people have things they need to do. People have things that they want and they want it now. Like, we live in a fast-paced world, so everybody wants what they want and they want it now. They expect it to be instant. So in my situation, transportation wise, folks are trying to go get somewhere and they have to be somewhere at a certain time. So when we arrive, and sometimes we don't get there on time because we're picking up and dropping off a lot of people. There's traffic. Sometimes we have issues with our vehicles. Sometimes we get to somebody and they are not ready in time, or we may have issues getting them off of the vehicle. There are so many things that can delay us for the next client. By the time I get to the next client, they're like upset because I'm late for them and they may have had somewhere to be at a certain time. So now they know they're not going to make it on time. So it's like the times that we're living in, everything is instantaneous, and not even just like people expect things to be instant, like right away, but also it's nonstop. I don't know about you all, but again, where I am in the Northeast, it's like we overnight turned into New York. I heard what's the city that never sleeps? Seattle or whatever. I guess we are overnight that. Like overnight, we are the city that never sleeps. Folks are out on the road 24/7. I don't understand when did this happen for us? I talked about this in another video where I felt like we got some sort of influx of individuals from somewhere else. I know these folks ain't from here. I just know all of a sudden we got all these new faces in the city and a whole bunch of cars, so much so that now they are doing construction on the freeways. And I think what they're doing is trying to make like a 6 lane freeway, whatever California has, where they have like all of those damn lanes or whatever, because of like the growth in population. That's what it seems like we're getting now. And there's a lot of construction that has been happening for a minute now on the freeway, and they're trying to expand the lanes. It's super busy. It's like nonstop rush hour. We having back-to-back accidents, not just on the freeways, but on the streets. I mean, when I tell you whatever is happening to up here where I'm living, the region, it ain't for the good. It's not good at all. It's stressful, and people are stressed out, and they are putting that stress on others. And don't let it be you at your job, whether it be, wherever you deliver customer service. It could be over the phone, it could be face to face, it could be in a restaurant setting, it could be in the store. Whatever it is, folks are so stressed out and they tend to put that back on someone else. And especially if they walk into the environment in which you work and they can't get their way. And even if they can get their way, they could probably find any reason to have an attitude with you and figure, well, you're the perfect person to take out their anger on because of the fact that they feel like you need your job. So what you're gonna do to them? So I don't know. I was just curious if anybody else was feeling like this, if anybody else is just over customer service and just want to get the hell out of these positions. and do something else with their life, or hell, get the hell out this country and get away from these folks. These, and I'm not talking about just white people being entitled. I'm talking about all people on this land having this entitled mentality, and this mentality that everything is just instant, everything is just right away. I gotta have everything, I gotta have what I want right away. And if I don't, there's gonna be a problem. Like, and I promise you, it doesn't feel like it used to be this way just 10 years ago. I don't know how to, I do know how we evolved to all of this, to be honest. I definitely know. I don't feel like saying it on this live, but going into that detail. Um, but yeah, that's just something I have been thinking about. When I'm riding with my clients, they always tend to ask me, like, do you like your job? Like, I can't believe how many of my clients have asked me this. They'll be like, Do you like your job? Do you like what you do? What you do?" And I'm wondering if they're asking me that because they have also expressed how they have gotten other operators who have driven them, and they say the other operators have terrible customer service. And I think they realize a lot of people are just over it. They over it, they tired, they don't really want to do these positions. They're doing these positions because, like anybody else, they have bills to pay, mouths to feed. They got to keep up with their cost of living and their expenses. And so I don't know. I think that some of the clients, they wanna I don't know. They want to know if anybody like their job. Like, can they? Because again, this service that we're providing, this transportation service, is needed for those who cannot get around. And again, I want to emphasize, sometimes it's wheelchair bound people, sometimes it's not. But in any other way, they may not be able to get around, especially when the wintertime comes. So they need this service. So it sometimes is heartbreaking to hear them, like, kind of ask, almost like they're pleading, of wanting to know, like, do you like this job? Are you, basically, I translate that to, are you going to stay in this position, because we need this? But at the same time, it's like, it's hard to tell you yeah, when I'm tired. I'm tired of dealing with y'all, and and some of y'all can be so nasty and mean and impatient and callous. And not to mention, I drive. So I'm also dealing with the traffic, the nonstop rush hour, because it's like, damn, it's like people never go home, people never go to bed. They on the road 24/7. And again, it didn't used to be like that up here in the city. So you dealing with that, people with the road rage, damn near trying to run you off the road, as well as the clients who have their issues. Some of them feel extremely entitled because, again, they figure you gonna take whatever shit they dish out to you, because it's your job to do so. And if you want to keep your job and your income, then you're gonna take anything that I give, that I give to you. Like, I come with an attitude or whatever. Oh well, it's your job. So people are tired, people are quitting, people are figuring out another way to make income, or people just leaving altogether, leaving the state, leaving the city, leaving the country, just to get away from all this. And in a minute, I'm not sure who gonna be around to help folks, especially, again, the elders and the disabled. Like, if everybody gets fed up and gets tired, yeah, people really gonna have to go back to relying on their family. Um, so I don't know. This is stuff that I be seeing and going throughout the week, my work week, which is 5 days out the week. This is stuff I be seeing, and I don't know. I have no answers. I sometimes just have to sit back and take a deep breath at times myself. I'm human too, so I get over it real quick too. Again, I like what we do because it's beneficial to people who fall in those categories, but at the same time, I don't like what we do because it is highly stressful. Highly, highly stressful. So that is it. That's all I wanted to say. Let me know what you all think in the comment section. Let me know if any of you work in customer service and how you feel about it nowadays. Do it seem like people are just far more rude than they ever been? Then people want to talk about politics. I had two clients the other day. Oh my gosh, first thing they wanted to talk about when they got on the vehicle was about Trump. And and I respect it, but I'm like, man, that man ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't know what he doing. I don't care what nobody say. I'm not Republican. I'm not Democrat. I ain't with none of that mess. I have to still work and pay these darn bills, despite what these people do. Whatever evil seances and you know whatever these folks are doing. I think they all evil. I think they all evil, and I think it's just one big ass evil game. And I feel like my people need to come up out this stuff all together, come out this system, get away. Let them have all of that. Why we feel the need to be a part of it? Why we feel the need to fight for? It? We ain't gotta be. We really not actually a part of it. I think we subjugated to it, but we not really a part of it. It's not really our fight. We actually could extract ourselves just all together from all of this stuff. But I think some of us like it. I think some of us like the idea that we feel like we're Americans, and we're all Americans. We're all one, and these folks keep showing you time and time again that's not the case. Not to mention, learning about the Constitution and who this stuff is really meant for. Like, you still believe in this stuff. You still believe you got to be a part of this stuff. Like, I don't give a crap about that. I don't even think about Trump. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. It's a chocolate Trump on Instagram. I laugh at his videos, but other than that, I don't really think about this man any more than I thought about Kamala Harris. Y'all was running around saying Kamala Harris was black. And not that I believe my people black, but the definition of blackness that I understand it to be and who it's pertaining to, that woman ain't black. That's a foreigner like a lot of other folks. But y'all wanted to run around and claim that woman, and that woman had no problem with bringing the massive amount of immigrants with Biden in here and taking over so-called indigenous black people resources. Not so-called indigenous, but indigenous so-called black people resources. But no, y'all wanted to vote for it over Trump. I don't feel like it's picking the lesser evil. I feel like we should just extract ourselves altogether. Who said we got to choose either one of them? But that's just me. That's just me. We want to keep being a part of their stuff, and we want to kumbaya. We believe racism is about getting another group of folks to like us. And we care so much about what they think about us and how we behave in front of them. And some of us believe if we marry and date them, then and procreate with them, then we can end racism. Oh my gosh. I had a client, speaking of work, I had a client, a Caucasian male, who said to me, and he meant well. He meant well. He's just ignorant, like a lot of us are. And I have my ignorances too still. So, but with that being said, he said to me, he was like, he got a black wife and stuff. He was like, I believe, what I believe the cure to racism is? And I was like, no, I don't. What is it? He was like, I believe more interracial relationships and more mixed children. So you mean to tell me, I translate that to the world will end racism, which again is a systematic thing. It's not about people liking you or not. So I don't know if that's what he's referring to like prejudice, or people hating you because, or bias, people hating you because of the color of your skin. But you mean to tell me, like, if I'm straight black and my children are straight black, they aren't worthy. But if we can pump out a bunch of mixed relations and mixed children, then they'll be seen as more valuable and worthy to society. And he ain't the only one that think like that. I've heard other people say it as well. Black people say it as well, and I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I can't blame people for trying. I can't blame people for if again, it's ignorance. If you don't understand what white supremacy, uh, racism, white supremacy is, then all else will confuse you, as Neely Fuller Jr. says. So I cannot blame people for feeling that way, but I that's not for me. Again, it ain't got nothing to do with white folks liking you. It's far beyond that. So that is it. That's all I got. That made my head hurt. I'm out. I'll talk to y'all soon. Everybody have a great day.